I'm Hilary Knight with the Boston Fleet, and you're listening to Jocks and Jill's podcast.
All right, guys, what's going on? Jocks and Jill's episode 12. I know I promised a childhood bedroom edition of this podcast for today. Unfortunately, you're getting childhood living room. That's what I've got for you.
Liam's still sleeping? Is that why?
My entire family is still sleeping. Yeah, Liam is included in that.
Nice.
If you look behind me right now, it's actually not 11 p.m. at night. It is 8:30 in the morning. So it's
in
just
Thunder
a little
Bay,
bit
Northern
dark.
Ontario. It's going to be noon before the sun comes up there.
Yeah, exactly. This time of the year too, it was just winter solstice, right? Like these are the darkest, longest nights of the year. I love being home for them, honestly. And you're headed north today.
They're getting a dumping today. And I'm pretty sure every day that we're there. Yeah. The only bad thing about that is like when from where I live in Toronto, Ontario, when you drive north to Sudbury, you have to drive through a snow belt. And the snow belt is like no joke. Like there's whiteout, like it's like white squalls. Like you don't know where the road starts or ends all the way across sometimes. So
you're talking Highway 11, right?
No, we don't go through Aurelia. We go 400.
Oh,
we go through Parry
it's
Sound.
Crazy either way.
Home of
Like there's no
Bobby Orr.
missing it. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so the
you can
dog.
go either way, really. You're not getting by it at all.
You're not missing the
It's
snow.
just you're going in it and you got to go through it. And it's fine. You learn to take your time, right? And the highway's gotten much better. It used to be one lane each way with like these massive trucks going to and from. Now it's two lanes separated for the most part. So we're going to take our time. We're going to get up there. And then I had a little early registration for my hockey school, Homegrown Hockey Stars up in Sudbury. So the ladies that registered early for that are going to get an hour of ice with me on Monday.
That's fun.
Yeah, for
bring
free.
kids?
Just go out there, have some fun, play some hockey. Yeah, we'll chuck them out there.
That's fun.
It'll be fun.
Nice.
And you're already home. Your travels were safe and okay?
Yeah. The airport was insane yesterday.
Yeah.
Breaking news. I'm talking about
imagine.
insane travel at the holiday. Uninteresting stuff. But like overall, everyone was so nice. I actually wanted to say that because sometimes Toronto could be so grumpy. But everyone at Billy Bishop Airport yesterday was so nice. Maybe it's because we had the dog with us and everyone likes to see a dog on a morning when you're waiting in a line. So that might give us a
The
plus.
Enzo
Somehow
effect.
saw both Megan Carter and CJ. Carly Jackson,
no
sorry
way.
to call you out, and see you guys at 7:30 in the morning at the airport and be like, hey, what's up? I don't know why it was so energetic. It was honestly annoying of me. I think they might have had a team party based on my observation.
I was going to say, they probably had some fun after their afternoon game. Even though it was a
for
loss,
sure.
it's still the holidays. In that
You
moment,
got
win or
party either
lose,
way.
you just hit the booze. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a night worth celebrating. We'll get into that game when we go through our headlines, Tessa, but we wanted to start by thanking Bravado for donating $60,000 worth of bras
It's insane.
the bra drive and the bra toss at the Toronto Scepters game on their cancer awareness night, all in support of Erica Howe. It was an amazing afternoon. Like you could really feel the love for her. Her fire department was set up in the corner right by the DJ booth. Tessa and I, and Ed and the kids were able to swing by, grab some hats, chat with her firefighting buddies. And then post-game was just one of the most magical moments ever when she was able to address the crowd. And Laura Stacey went in and gave her a hug after getting the OT winner.
I know. Howie has always been for the most part since I've known her. And I'm not going to lie and say I know her very well. I know Howie, as an acquaintance, but she's always the most smiley, positive, uplifting person. And she's an easy person to love. There's not a mean bone in that person's body. And, when news broke and she kind of shared that, or we found out the news, when we had reached out and was like, let us help you raise funds and reach your goal. I hope she understands that like it's more than that everyone, even Laura Stacey and Montreal team, everybody that took pictures with her, everyone across the league knows and loves her, that we just want to be in this fight with her and that we have her back on her best and her worst days. So Howie, we're sending all the love over the holidays, bud. We got our toques, we're wearing them. And, we'll be in touch. I talked to her. She's busy a bit through the holidays, Julia. So we're going to try and get her on our next episode. She said she's going to have a bit more time on her hands after Christmas. So
perfect. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Tess and I doing snow angels in bras and like the whole afternoon was just great. Like it was when you and I said, let's do a bra toss in that meeting in October or whatever
way
it
back in
was.
October. Yeah.
Yeah, we're really excited to see that come to life. So again, Bravado Designs, that that specific thing couldn't have happened without you guys. So we really appreciate all your love for the PWHL and for us. And with that, Tessa, let's get to the headlines of the past few days in the PWHL. Okay, so this one was a while ago, but Ottawa, Minnesota, we weren't able to get to last week on Thursday, and it was quite the game too.
Yeah, I feel like Ottawa was ticked, coming off their last loss and really wanted to come out guns a-blazing. And, I'd mentioned to you, I'm like, I feel bad, Ottawa, they're going to be upset, but they're coming up a really hard Minnesota team to play against. And Minnesota's hard to play against for a lot of reasons. And I want to get to it because they've played 2 games since our last episode, and it just kind of confirmed everything I had been thinking. But in this game in particular, I don't know what it was with Kendall Coyne or what she ate pregame, but she looked so freaking fast. It was just like every time she had the puck, she hit the super speed button and off she went. I feel bad for Ottawa though, because they did start out pretty good. They did score first, but Minnesota being Minnesota was just like, sorry, you're not winning this game. And they were all over them. They were all over Ottawa. Grace Zumwinkle had a nice power play goal. Minnesota is hard to play against, and I can even drag this into their game against New York, but their centerman, this is insane. These numbers are wild, by the way. These are like, some of them have higher face-off percentages than McDavid and Crosby in the league right now. So per game in the past 5 games, Kelly Panik's face-off percentage, 65% home opener against New York, 42.9% against Boston, 66.7% against Toronto, 76.5% against Ottawa. Ottawa, you're not winning that game. You never have the puck. Yeah. New York, she fell below 50, 47.8 for an average of 59 points. She's winning 60% of her draws. 60.
Wow, at this
That's
point
insanity.
in the season, 60
and
is
she's playing on a
insane.
good and she's playing on a good line. Okay?
Yeah.
That's Kelly Panik. Okay, let's go to Taylor Heisey. 56.2, 58.3, 81.8, 55.6, and then last game against New York, 29.4. So she's averaging 56.8% in those games. Like, you're not getting draws. Liz Shepard's had an 80%. She's kind of cooking just under 50%. And then Petrie, who didn't play in their last game, she's buzzing at 66% on average. So when you're playing against Minnesota, you're spending majority of the time trying to get the puck back. And they are such a deep team that when they do win these draws, specifically on the power play, you're hooped. You are hooped. Sorry about it. This team's too good. They're too deep. They're too much of an offensive threat. And let's say, okay, maybe you do beat them in the faceoff draw, which I feel like against New York in the last game, they did, because all of their centermen were below 50%, which was a close game for New York.
Oh, awesome game.
Then you got to beat their stud goaltending.
Yeah.
So it's like, you really got your work cut out against this team. You have to play so defensively sound, and your goalie needs to have one hell of a game to beat them. New York's taken them to extra time twice. Those are the top two. Those are the 2 teams to beat right now, hands down, easy peasy. Like, they are going to run away with this. It's the battle between these two. Sign me up every day. I'll pay face value and some to go watch this.
Yeah, it really is. Those 2 teams are great. I want to go back to that Ottawa game fast. Gwen Phillips made her PWHL debut.
She did.
I know that it wasn't the result that she was looking for, but I liked what we saw from her. What'd you think?
100%. Our confidence didn't waver one bit. No matter what. I felt like, and it's not like they were like cheap garbage goals where you're like, oh man, that sucks. Sorry, it was still tough. It was a blooper, the backhand panic one where she tried to like shortstop it, like get an arm on it.
It's hard to even call that
whatever.
one a softie. Like, you called that the perfect thing. It was a blooper.
It's a bloop. It's like, what the hell do you do with that? You know what I mean? It was like Cava's goal, that one goal that was like up in the air and everyone's looking around like, where is it? And it lands in the net. And it's like, even the players laugh at those because it's like, what? Like, what happened there? And no one really knows. Yeah.
Some are just on the hockey gods.
100%. I think she should be proud of herself, the effort she put forward. And the fact that, that was her first game against the defending Clarkson Cup champs. Like, that's a tall task,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tall can. That's not just a little stubby. So good for her.
Yeah. I love you said Clarkson Cup. That's why I was giggling a little bit there.
Oh, yeah. Did I say Clarkson Cup? Sorry, Walter Cup. I apologize.
No, I love the shout out to the Clarkson Cup, though. Former Clarkson Cup champ on the podcast here, Tessa and Julia. Don't forget it.
2014.
Montreal, Toronto. Let's talk about that game.
There's only one thing to talk about in that game, really, outside of Erica Howe being at Erica Howe night. It's Abby Boreen's goal. Is she nuts? That's goal of the year.
Disgusting.
Don't care what anybody says.
It's funny. It's like one of the last few games of 2024, and we got a couple really good goals. Like Abby Boreen's is going to be a contender for like best goal of the calendar year, Tess.
Yeah, all of last season. It's funny because even in the venue, this was in Toronto, by the way, and Boreen plays for Montreal. Obviously, I'm pretty sure people still cheered because there was like, wow, and then it was like, oh wait, oh. And it was like, no, you cheer for that because one, it's not like she was going up against a defender who, maybe was below her in sense of like, okay, this kid's not going to be able to defend me. I got this. It was Renata Fast. Like one of the best defenders in the entire world. And you made her look silly. And you're silly sliding into the corner. Like if that is not in the video game, I don't want to play the video game. 100%.
Yeah.
And that move needs to be just tell me whatever buttons I need to mash to make that happen when I'm Abby Boreen in that game. It was so sick. I was just like, I can't wait to only talk about this. Yeah. She pulled up the toe drag and she literally looked at her and was like, we're doing this. We're doing this. Looks right at her. Toe drags around her, has it on her backhand. Renata's skating towards the net. She's kind of has her back to Boreen a bit. Boreen taps the backhand back through Renata and then goes blocker side. Kirk looked like she wanted that one back. But I mean, in that moment, unfortunate for Reagan Kirk, it just had to be a goal. Because you don't pull that move without a sick finish. Yeah.
No, it had to go into the back of the net. It's funny you said the Toronto fans had to cheer for that goal. It was just too nice not to cheer for it. Reminded me of how Debbie was wearing. Got to shout out Debbie. She was wearing a half Montreal Victoire, a half Toronto Scepters jersey, and she had a sign that said something to the effect of "I can't choose. I cheer for both. Sorry, not sorry." So
yeah,
good choice that day.
Sorry, not sorry.
Jesse Comfer also had a really sick goal that game. It's not getting talked about at all because of what happened.
Boreen.
And Abby Boreen scoring after. Like it's hard to talk about anything else. I think Boreen's went as high as 4 on SportsCenter top 10 in the USA.
Wow.
We'll see where it ends up in the end of the year. Like
it's a number one. Are they joking? High.
I don't know. I didn't actually see the rest of the highlights.
Don't even care.
On Twitter that it ended up
unless it was 4. Like a 2-finger touchdown grab. I don't want to see it. It's Abby Boreen.
Yeah. I'd love to see what they were saying was better than theirs. But that shot from Jesse Comfer was great too. And
that Comfer line I thought had a good game. Like I felt like okay, they're fine. They're clicking. Like because they looked good through I want to say 2.5 periods. Like I was just like they're looking great. Felt bad for Toronto. Montreal was kind of all over them, but they found a way to stay in it. But like getting 7 minutes in PIMS in the third period, you're shorthanded through almost half of that. With Montreal, who's just only going to continue to build momentum, it's kind of tough to close out a game, And like you're talking, you just said Reagan Kirk. No knock on her. I thought she played fantastic. She was a bright point.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought that the team kind of needed a little bit of a jolt when you play in front of a young goaltender. You know how it is sometimes. Not that they don't want to play hard in front of Soup, but they've got so much trust in Soup that they know she's a great last line of defense. And sometimes
I feel like Soup's a little off right now, anyways. So I think it might be good for her just to get back to tactical and just refocus, on herself, not necessarily the games. Because Reagan can carry him. Like she kept her team in it for a lot there. So I don't know. Toronto now has 2 banging goalies.
Yeah. So that was a great game on Saturday in Toronto. And then yesterday, Sunday in New York, this was a battle, Tessa. Like
for first,
you mentioned 2 top teams going head to head. I was excited for this game and it did not disappoint.
Like battle for first place, you knew what it was going to be. And it was exactly what we expected. Tough thing for Minnesota, having lost Sophie Jakes in the Ottawa game. She's on the LTIR now with what I have heard is a shoulder injury. So hopefully it's not as bad as it could be. And she's back. So with that, they actually signed defender Charlotte Akravic. That's tough for Minnesota because their back end was stronger than any back end in the entire league. But I don't doubt Sophie will rehab and keep her legs under her and be back as fast as she can. But anyways, Minnesota without her still came out hot. It was Abby Levy's start for New York. Unfortunately for her, Minnesota goes up 3-0 early. So she gets yanked after the first period.
She had a good bloop bloop too.
Yeah.
That goal from the corner. That's a tough one. It honestly, and it happens. Like, I'm not even going to call it a softie. It's another one that I'm putting under the blooper category. And unfortunately, it might be one of the top bloopers of the 2024 calendar season as well.
Yeah, should we start like a bloop reel or like
we should start thinking
we're just
about
gonna
it, guys.
collect these?
Yeah, it is
the nicest
today's
blooper
December
goal.
23rd. We're gonna have a full week to think of all the bloopers of the PWHL, like since the beginning of the PWHL on January 1st of last year. So guys, in
you
our
want to go
comments,
back that far? Julia, my
dude,
goodness.
I think we should recap a full first year of the PWHL. So if you guys are in our comments on YouTube, in our DMs on Instagram, maybe I'll make an Instagram post actually asking for thoughts and opinions on best bloopers of the year. But think on those, guys. We'd love to put them together.
Yeah, help us. Anyways,
do our job.
Poor Levy gets pulled, and I felt bad because the goal that she like shot it away on her backhand, and it went right to Coiner.
Yeah,
I understood where she was coming from. There was a ton of pressure coming at her. Cava played it right. Cava knew, this is such a intelligent play by Cava. Cava knew that Coin was coming up along the boards and she took behind the net away. Right. And the way Levy was faced with her body, she only had one option, and it was to either throw it away or fall on it. And unfortunately for Levy, she threw it away. So anyways.
You don't really think to fall on it. Like, that's just not what your brain defaults to.
It's too scary. You hit the panic button is what happens, especially as a goalie. But yeah, New York battled back. Like, holy, you love to see it. And this is why these two teams are in first place, because, you know, you leave the door open just a crack, they're going to kick that thing wide open. I loved, whose goal was it? It was Carp's goal, the game tying goal, short side high, ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was just like, there's just enough room there. Hensley, it's just like, oh man, that was a nice one. I felt the other two on Hensley were a little bit weak. The first one felt soft. I felt like, she's going to want that one back. There's no way she's going to be, she didn't even seem set. I know, that's why I was like, oof, okay. She's been out of the game. She's going to be more set now. It's Nicole Hensley. And then the 3-2 goal, the Jaguar goal, I felt like that one, she was going to be kicking herself for it too. But regardless, one hell of a game-tying goal. And then to go in shootouts and be able to shake all that off and win it for her team. The shootouts were wicked too. There were lots of goals. Sometimes I feel like there's only like one goal in a shootout. Not this one. It was like, and everyone was going good too. I felt like Abby Rock just didn't pull the puck back enough to be able to get it up on her shot to keep the shootout going. Unfortunately for Abby, Hensley got her glove on it, and that was game over. Minnesota remains in first place.
Dude, I have to call myself out too, because when they announced
Taylor
that
Heisey scored her first goal,
I was like, what the hell do you mean Heisey hasn't scored yet? But she's just been chugging along well, even though she hadn't contributed a goal yet. And despite don't forget she came into the season
Zami's been going
injured.
though, so you know Heisey's getting points, right?
Yeah. I think I called Heisey bionic the first time I saw her at training camp this year with her big leg brace that she has going. You could see it in her walk-in pictures too. So yeah, great start to the season for her, even though yesterday was her first time finding the score sheet somehow. I feel like she's going to have some swagger after that, getting the first goal and then that shootout goal to win the game too. That's some swag for last year's first overall pick, I think.
Heck yeah.
Our player interview for this week, Tessa, is I feel like it's a good one for the second last episode of 2024 on the Jocks and Jills podcast, because everybody's been asking to see this player for a long time. She is not someone who's shy in the media. Maybe she used to be, but like in the past couple of years, her TikToks and like her willingness to be open, and I feel like we've seen a new side of this person in the last couple of years, Tess.
Totally. And I'm not going to lie, everyone. I hounded her last season to come on our podcast. Like, I was incredibly annoying to the point where I would like start by apologizing every time I'd ask her to come on. And Hilary Knight this season was finally like, let's do this. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. She opened the scoring in the PWHL for the 2024-2025 season. It's Hilary Knight, and this interview is presented by Bravado Designs, the official bra partner of the PWHL, offering an understated, uncomplicated collection of intimate apparel that makes you feel beautiful, uplifted, and confident underneath it all. Folks, it's Hilary Knight and the Jocks and Jills podcast.
It's with great pleasure. I feel like I was harassing you all last season to jump on the pod, albeit you were kind of busy being awesome and trying to win the first ever Walter Cup. So we'll forgive you. We got you back now, which is nice. Hilary Knight joining us, the GOAT, if you will. Probably one of the best players to don the ice in the women's game. So we are truly honored to have you finally here with us on the Jocks and Jill podcast. And I say one of the best on the ice. I don't even mean that. Sorry. On the ice and off the ice as well. What we've done for women's hockey so far has been fantastic. So thank you for doing that for all of us, for the future players, for my daughter, hopefully, if she decides to play hockey one day. We really appreciate what you do and have done for the game. So we'll start there. What we usually do on the Jocks and Jills podcast is we start from the beginning. And when the rivalry series took place and everyone's like, oh, we're playing like just under 3 hours away from where Hilary Knight was born. And this is pretty cool. It's a homecoming for her. I'm like, I'm going to Google what this place is like. And then I Googled it and I'm like, how in God's name did Hilary Knight not turn into a professional downhill skier?
Yeah. That's
like,
wild,
what
huh?
the heck?
I know. I
It was
don't
right
know.
there. You grew up in the mountains, basically, and it's beautiful. I'm probably going to be vacationing there at some point this year.
Honestly, you have anytime you want to stay, you got a place to stay.
I might take you up on that.
It's
so what
beautiful.
was it? What was it about the no skiing? Well, first of all, there had to have been skiing.
Yeah, there's skiing. And then it's turned into skiing every 4 years when things got a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
But no, my cousin's a 3-time downhill Olympic skier. Like, it's in the family. And, you know, cousins are national team berths on the ski team. It just skiing's in our blood. And it just came to that crux, that moment where you have to choose.
Yeah.
Like many people, you have to choose which sport you're going to be serious about.
Yep.
And I love team sports. I love, working towards a common goal, having people come from different backgrounds and figuring out how we're going to plot our way to that final trophy. There's just something about it. The community, the friendships, the memories. I can't imagine doing a sport alone.
Truly, camaraderie is the best thing. And I don't even know if I have like enough gumption in me to be out there alone and do it myself.
That
honestly.
too, yeah.
So do you remember moving from California to Sun Valley?
Yeah, we moved around a lot. So we went California to Illinois, and it's crazy that it's some great, you get to these great moments in time, and you realize that a lot of it's just luck.
Yeah.
I think with my dad's job, they're like, do you want to go to London, Chicago? And I can't even remember which other city. And he's like, London. And they're like, okay, you're going to Chicago.
What?
Yeah. And so just because we moved to the Midwest, no mountains, little hills, that's how I got into hockey. And then that's how my brothers started playing.
Sick. And it was just like, hey, we're here. There's the Blackhawks. People are playing hockey.
Yeah.
Let's get these
what
kids
do you do
on
with
skates.
The kids? You put them on ice. Okay.
And were you a natural from the get-go, or was it something that you had to like work at your craft kind of thing?
I definitely had to work at it, but I was extremely athletic when I was younger.
Yeah.
And a lot bigger than the boys. So I could kind of, toss the edges around a little bit.
Yeah.
Played defense.
What?
Surprisingly. Yeah.
No
Wouldn't
way.
trust my gap now, but yeah. I'd throw some bodies, and it was a lot of fun.
What? You played defense when you played boys?
Yeah.
Contact?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yep. I always wanted to be a goalie though.
What?
Yeah, but yeah, defense.
Was it straight the parents that were just like straight up, no way, I'm not buying that gear?
Yeah, no way for goalie. Only 3 make it. And
right.
I think that's hey, you're really not good enough. That's the nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm really glad my path worked out that way.
I think it worked out pretty good.
And then, I had a coach. I was bigger than the guys. I got to throw the body. And I don't know when I made the transition to forward, but I had another coach being like, defense are the smart ones, forwards are not so smart. And then all of a sudden I found myself up at forward and I was like, what does this mean?
Everybody's telling you things very nicely.
Yeah, no, but it was, it's fun to score goals and be a part of the crew that just gets to go lights out, like a lights out F1. And
so when did Cami Granato become like your idol and the one that you wanted to be like?
Yeah, you definitely hear chatter from the 98 games being the first time women's hockey was in the Olympics. And Cami is just so instrumental to the sport. And you can only imagine how important it was to have an icon like that in the United States. When, you know, hockey is not necessarily our sport. And so to have her the face of the game and see her, you know, on the ice, and that's just who you wanted to be, Cami Granato.
Yeah.
You know, the way she carries herself, the way she plays, the type of teammate she is. And then I don't know who was stupid enough to let me get her number when I joined the U.S. team.
I think that's awesome. It's so fitting.
Like,
it's just to pass
of
a torch.
Yeah. So it
did she have to sign off on it too?
I have no idea how the back end worked.
Oh, we gotta ask Cami.
Yeah. I was given 16 as my first number, and you fill out these sheets. It's like preference, first number, second number. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way they give me number 21, you know, and put 21 down, and I got it. I was like, oh, what do I do now? But,
oh my God, I got to wear this now?
Yeah. I mean, Kendall and I both went to her camp growing up. You know, she's from the Chicago area, and just so cool to be able to see it and then like kind of be it in a way.
Did you and Kendall become pals at the camp? Like, no?
Didn't even know we were at the same camp.
Stop.
Yeah. We put 2 and 2 together like years later.
No way. It would have been so cool if you guys were like pen pals or something.
Yeah.
So you guys had no clue.
No.
You're like, oh, there's that little kid over there. And she's like, yeah, that girl's tall. And that was it.
It's like the little kid braids.
Yeah, her little side braids. I forgot about those.
I just always knew about this awesome talent that played for TI. And that was Kendall.
It's so wild that both of you, you know, Cami was so instrumental at the beginning. And for both of you to go to her hockey camp, both you and Kendall, and then just to see how instrumental both of you have been to get the game and this league to where it is now. That's
crazy.
Kind of wild. Had Cami stayed kind of a mentor to you after that? Or was it not until like...
So she was sort of like a distant mentor, I'd say, because you're like, oh my gosh, you're kind of starstruck. It's like Cami Granato, right? But she came in to speak to our team. I don't even remember which year, and sort of like caught back up again then. And it was just so cool.
Did she remember that you were at her camp? Like, had she known, or were you like, I went to your camp when I was 12?
I remember. I still have my camp jersey.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's so good.
So giddy about it. Did she sign it? Yep.
No way.
Yeah, and I think a couple other members were there. And that's the thing, like, it's just, you know, now you realize like you're in these shoes, and you can just a little bit, you can have so much of an impact.
Yeah.
So cool. I just,
kind of cool having her be your idol growing up, and then you get to pass her in the scoring race at the Women's World Championship.
Crazy.
What was that like for you? One, just to catch her and pass her, but two, I mean, it was her.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel real.
Right.
You know, it's just so cool.
Did she call you?
Yeah, I got a bunch of messages and stuff, and she sent in a video, and it was just, it was really cool. Some of these things, like, I feel like everything's happening so quickly, and you know, I'm at the point in my career where I'm just trying to like savor every single moment with the girls, you know.
Yep.
That it's I don't even, like, I say I realize it, but sometimes I sit down and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, I don't realize it yet, you know? It hasn't sunk in.
Well, I mean, those moments are huge because you've been on this platform or in this platform where young girls, like you said, in the United States get to look up to you and strive to be like you and want to be the next Hilary Knight, potentially wearing number 21. And then one of those players is Hannah Bilka.
Yeah.
And then she gets to, is that not the funniest thing? And then she gets to play with you in the national team. That was the cutest little picture that was thrown out there at the Worlds. And then here she is on your Boston Fleet team. So what's it like to have that come full circle? Like, what was that for you? Did you feel, like, I feel super old when Julia's here and she's talking and using some lingo and I have no idea what the hell she's talking about.
Yeah.
But then to have a kid like that, that's pretty cool.
It's so cool. And I remember, someone's like, oh, there's this really good kid out of Texas. And I was like, Texas? Like, that's wild. No way. No way there's this good kid out of Texas. Because it's just, I think people sleep on Texas. I slept on Texas for a bit, but it's a huge hockey market.
Yeah.
And yeah, picture with Hannah Bilka. So I'll have her sign it one day.
You
know?
I'm sure she's
going places.
I'm sure she's got your Siggy all over some stuff.
Yeah.
I want to talk about universities because I always boast and brag about the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. But you probably had your pick you could have went wherever the hell you wanted to go.
Mhm.
Let's be honest. Because you had actually gone to a world championship before had you even committed yet?
No. Because it was different back then. Like you didn't have to commit when you're
Like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Right. It was like right before.
So I really dragged it out because I really didn't know.
You had no idea. So where were you looking?
I looked at BC.
Yeah.
Gophers. I did get some letters from Ohio State.
You did? You didn't respond to any, clearly?
The stairs. I couldn't do the stairs.
You didn't want the steps.
Yeah.
Got it. That's fair.
No, and hockey was different at that time, but yeah, I was looking at small schools, big schools, kind of like everywhere. I looked at UNH, took a lot of unofficials, Brown, Providence for a hot second.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I just didn't know
You had no idea what you wanted in school.
Yeah.
In a school.
I went to prep school. And
Yeah.
so I already felt like I had that very small liberal artsy college experience.
Yeah.
So a part of me was like, oh, what if I go to a bigger school? And
In
when you
comes
go on
Wisco.
campus and you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
I got
I?
on campus at Wisco, partied,
Was it
felt it.
Was it the
It's like,
scooters?
this is where it's at. Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
I mean, Wisco's a good time. It was my number 2, just so
Oh.
you know. It
Yeah,
came
well, you
down
should've
to
come.
well, you know what? I wanted to go to a school where I knew I was going to play every situation from the puck drop.
You would have.
No, are you kidding me?
Definitely.
Molly Engstrom was there. Carla McLeod was.
That's true.
They were heavy hitters
Yeah.
at Wisco when I was in school. I'm older than you. And at Ohio State there was Emma Laxonen, that was an Olympian, and I was like, yo, I want to play with her.
Yeah.
And I'm going to learn from someone who isn't on the Canadian or American national team, and
Mhm.
we'll be D partners. It'll be sweet. Anyways.
Yeah.
So it was the partying, it was the feel, Mark Johnson's not a bad coach either. That guy is pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of the, given.
Yeah.
Magic, Mark Johnson. It's just to play for him. It's such an honor. But you're that age. You're like, yeah, that's cool. He did a lot of cool stuff. But
Yeah.
You're like, what's the vibe? How's it going? Kind of thing. And Duggan was there, Lawler was there. Sort of Betts was there. I mean, there's a really good crew. Angie Keesley, and just people I could learn from and people I felt comfortable around. And then you've got this Coach Johnson.
I know.
So
And he's
it's
the
perfect recipe.
nicest person in the history of the world, I feel like.
Yeah.
Is he not? And his
He
family
is.
is so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. His wife is amazing.
I know.
She's hosting, team dinners the first in the fall, and you're so uptight because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going over to the Johnson's house.
I
And
know.
it's just far from that.
The coolest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most memorable experiences I have when visiting schools and stuff, was going to his house and meeting his family and his wife being so kind and
Yeah.
everything. Although when I was there, after dinner, they served ice cream. This is hilarious, by the way. You can, if you ever talk to, I don't know if you keep in touch with them at all, but they served ice cream. And so we were all shooting the breeze or whatever. And then I believe it was his son goes, Mom, isn't that the dog's bowl? And the dog's bowl.
No
But it
way.
had been washed, but
No
I felt like
way.
she was probably out of bowls, and she's like,
I
that's
love it.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I didn't go there. Let's talk about your first worlds that happened before you went to Wisconsin. It was in 2007. I believe that was Winnipeg, if I'm
Yeah, it was
correct.
Winnipeg.
What's
Mm,
wrong? Why the
No,
why the
I
sigh?
just remember we were in, so you remember there was 2 sites. So there was Selkirk and there's Winnipeg. We were in
Yes.
Selkirk for the first part.
Right. I
The
do recall.
catfish capital was the sign we kept passing on the way to the rink. And I was like, I don't know if this is actually the catfish capital.
Did you eat catfish?
No, I didn't. But I'm like, I don't know where I am right now. But it was fun. I
You're
mean,
up there.
Yeah. But what's cool about playing in Canada and why I love to play up here is, the fans show up.
Was it packed
They
for
could
you
be
guys?
booing you guys. Not necessarily, but when we got to Winnipeg, it was
Rammed.
people are showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that year, we did our pre-training camp in Dauphin, which was just north. And so we get there, we were checking into our motel. And
It's in the motel too.
yeah, did you?
Yeah.
So fancy.
Yeah.
Jen Botterill went and bought her own bed sheets and comforter at the
Come
Walmart up
on.
the street. Yeah, she walked like 20 minutes to go get them.
You know,
Hilarious.
I'm glad we're talking about this because I was like, oh my gosh, they sewered us again. They
No
put
way,
us in a
man.
motel.
Dude, in
We're
our
both motels.
where we were in Dauphin,
Yeah.
the mayor's wife was murdered and they didn't know where the mayor was. And they're like, okay, well, you guys have to walk to the rink. It's like 10 minutes up the road. We're like, I don't think that's safe.
No.
Someone just got murdered. Anyways, when you got to Winnipeg and everything, like that was super fun. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was my first Worlds as
Do you
well.
remember? Okay, this is awful that I remember this because I was on the other side of it. But when you guys won,
Yeah.
I swear, like people like parachuted from the ceiling.
What?
Did they not like come down on to like? There was this huge.
Oh, the army folk, like
Yeah.
that they
Did that
rappelled
happen, or
down.
did I just like made that up in my brain?
You know what? I don't know if that was pregame or maybe post. It was a part of like the presentation. I'm not sure because
It was like a big thing though.
it was a big to do.
Yeah.
I just remember I was on the ice for the last bit of it, so I was looking down the ice at Kim. So I don't know what happened behind me, but people
Yeah.
repelled from the.
I
from
thought
the roof?
so, but maybe I was just having like a
We're
very
gonna
young
need
moment.
confirmation on the rappelling down from the
Yeah.
like roof.
Oh, man.
What about that year? I mean, you were so young. So what about that year, I guess, set the template for you moving forward? I mean, you're a young kid listening to some pretty mature conversations in a locker room.
Yeah.
So it must have been a lot to digest and to handle.
Yeah. I always approach it like be a sponge. There's always something to learn, especially at that age. Whenever you're trying to make a national team, you're right there on the bubble, like trying to make the team, and you don't know how to get to that next step.
Yeah.
And nobody tells you how. You just got to keep working hard, keep honing your craft. And then finally to have sort of a national team birth, you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm here. And now I need to absorb every single thing.
Yeah.
There's systems. I mean, I don't think I really had like a traditional system before that. So I'm overwhelmed on everything. But it was just such an amazing experience to be like, this is the big girls.
Yeah.
This is the next level. And this is where I want to play. And I have a lot to work on if I want to stay here.
Totally. For myself, I remember it being like the warm-ups and the cool downs and the recovery. I remember
Like, what's
being
that?
like, I just hit up McDonald's on the ride home and
Yeah.
smashed a burger. Like, what do you mean?
Wheat bread. I was like, what
Yeah.
is that? I have like Uncrustables or crustless bread or whatever this stuff, So I'm looking like even like just going through the dinner line, I'm looking at people's plates. There's just so many things that are different.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, with that, you mentioned your diet. What is
terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, we had Hannah Brandt on last season and she was like, you need to ask Hilary about her diet. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm pretty sure Hill's like a fine-tuned athlete. And she was like, ask.
I don't know. Like I like my things. Super. So these guys just see me eat super plain on game days because
Right.
the nerves, right? The
Mhm.
excitement. It's just like no red sauce. Like I'm
What?
just keeping it like very plain. Yeah, I put some like pepper on my pasta and that's kind of it.
Pepper.
Yeah, and I don't have like veggies on the game day. Like certain
wanna be
things like that.
gassy.
It just like bothers me. So
Right.
I've learned what works with my system and I've just gone with it. And I definitely get some like, oh my God, like
So it's a beige plate.
it's colorless, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Pre-game
So,
colorless plate.
Yeah.
Pepper is the only thing that you're seeing.
Little flavor. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you wash it down with a ton of water.
Yeah. Good thing we don't play 86 games or 84
Yeah.
games or whatever.
But like
so.
outside of that, like if you're going for dinner, are you like, would you go for sushi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a good palate then? Or
Yeah,
no?
like I'll go out. We're actually going to do this new thing this year where we're going to go. Everyone gets to pick where they want to go 3 times a month. We're going to go to different spots around the city of Boston.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. Just to have the full like carousel of different
you guys are
restaurants.
gonna have people reaching out to you, know that, right? Like, hey, we want to host you guys next.
I hope so.
Everyone,
Yeah.
get the fleet at your restaurant. This is Hilary Knight. She wants to eat your food, and she promises it won't be plain pasta with
Yeah.
pepper. I hope.
Promise.
It's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the work you did off the ice. Most notably for myself. And I remember covering this Worlds. I was actually cheering for you guys in 2017.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel bad because a lot of my friends that I had played with and trained with were still on the team. But like, it was important for you guys to get that Worlds because you were actually going to boycott that Worlds
Yeah.
if the contract wasn't signed or agreed upon,
We
correct?
legitimately would not have showed up.
So, but was that everybody top to bottom, like
Yeah.
U18s? How did you get everyone united and on the same page?
Well, classic phone tree,
Right.
you know? But no, I think it was just many conversations, decades of conversations around the same table, you know, when we're traveling of how do we make this better
Yeah.
for not only us, but the next generation.
Yeah.
And then finally, you know, developing a culture where you could trust each other. Because
Right.
that's a huge step.
100%.
And everyone wants to play on the national team.
Yeah.
And everyone wants a spot.
Yeah.
And so we had to sort of go across this line and be like, hey, we're going to put everything on the line.
Good.
We might never get invited back, but it was just so important to everyone.
What were some of the things that you were fighting for?
Well, we needed programming
Yeah.
because at the time we didn't have the PWHL.
Right.
And you only saw us every 4 years. I think Four Nations was becoming a really scarce tournament
Yeah.
too. So that was disappearing, or there was talks of it disappearing. And we needed a place to play. We also need different training resources and funding.
Yep.
We also needed different staff members to help us be at our best when we get on the ice. So it's funny how people see these amazing athletes and they forget it takes so many people for just one athlete to be successful.
Yeah. So when it was finally agreed upon and you guys go into that Worlds, was it kind of like, oh shit?
Now we got to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt that way?
Yeah.
And
It was
everyone
like,
knew?
let's do it. Yeah.
Was it game face on, buckle up, like let's ride kind of thing? Or was it
Yeah.
more nervous?
No, excited.
Okay.
I'll never forget the feeling like of confidence and excitement and just like empowerment then when we all landed in the Detroit airport together after doing that. Because we're all in our separate areas. We're in different states, right? Some of us are in Massachusetts, others are in, you know, Minnesota,
Mhm.
kind of everywhere. So when we met up, it was like, yeah, like let's do this thing.
Had any of did anyone from Team Canada reach out to you guys and be like, good for you for fighting for that? Like good luck or congrats or anything like that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was all a blur because I don't even know if maybe we got one practice before the tournament started.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we had this like cutoff date internally on, you know, what's the last date? And then we actually like cannot play.
Yeah.
And we passed that. Yeah. And so we're like, no, we'll keep trying. And then luckily we ended up coming to an agreement. But yeah, I think we had like one practice or something. Like
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
crazy.
So all your games were your practices basically
Yeah.
leading up to that gold medal.
Mhm.
And then sure enough, it's you who scores a beauty game winner.
Great sequence play though.
OT. Yeah, who passed it back to you? Was it Stack?
Kendall.
Oh, it was Coiner?
Yeah. So block shot our zone. Kendall's going. I'm like,
Yeah.
get
the
Kendall the
left.
puck. That's like rule number one. Get
Yeah.
Kendall the puck. She's streaking. And then I was like, I'm gonna follow up in some nice quiet space. And she fed me back. I think Dex was also coming in on the back door, so that made the defender probably be like, okay, like what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if Zab was like, maybe Dex is gonna get it, you know? So but yeah, it was a great sequence play. That was such a fun line to play on.
And like what a shot. I don't doubt that. You guys were so fun.
Yeah.
To
we were
cover.
so dominant too.
You three, were you begging Decker not to retire?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough, you
Yeah.
know. I wish we had one more, you know, go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more kick at the cat.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys at least have that Olympic gold together that you
Mhm.
won, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Which came right after the year after, right? So it was
Mhm.
like bang, bang. You got the world championship gold after fighting for that contract. And then you were kind of like, phew, thank God we got that done.
Yeah.
And then it was Olympics. Did it kind of feel like, okay, man, now we got to follow this up, everyone? Like, no jokes aside, we fought for this. Now we got to go.
Yeah, you know, like you're like, okay, this is just the base, right?
Yeah.
This is the foundation. This is like starting. We're starting here. So we need to continue to improve, continue to dominate. We need to get better at everything.
Yeah.
And obviously 2022 just was not our year. But, you know, it's one thing to always think, you know, the other team is supported better. They have better training setup. And now we're like, okay, like we have the right people.
Even
you
playing
know,
ground, yeah.
behind us to be able to get to that gold medal game.
So you were part of 2010. You were part of 2014, which was, I'm sure, gut-wrenching
Oh,
for you guys.
boy.
That was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Just as a sports fan in general, like, holy smokes. And
We-
then, so what felt,
we walked by the medals going back into the room before overtime.
stop.
Like they're on the platters, and I remember like, oh, this is like I looked, I was like, this is not a good sign. You know, you
no.
get that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just feel it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh God. But yeah, no, I mean, 2014 was heartbreaking.
100%. So what felt different in 2018 then for you guys? Anything? Or
Yeah.
was it a matter of just like hanging on and just getting the job done in a shootout?
Yeah, I mean, this is the group that went to war. Like we were in the trenches together. So
Yeah.
you just have this huge trust that everyone's going to do their job. And when the time's right, people are going to shine. But yeah, I think honestly, the tipping point was after 2014 being so heartbroken. And I don't know if Billie Jean King remembers this, but we were at a women's sports foundation and next to her in some quiet area, maybe it's before the Grand March, she asked if anybody said anything, right? Between periods or on the bench, when you have those small moments that you're either pushing it for a yes or maybe a no.
Yeah.
And nobody did, right? Like nobody controlled those moments. And so that always stuck with me. And so 2018, people were chatting, people were speaking up.
Right.
It was just a completely different vibe. You know how it goes. Like it's you're lucky if you get to do one Olympics, to do two Olympics. And then if you're in the room with people who've been there, like Chewy, to send her out with a gold medal victory would have been really special. So you understand if you've been around the losses that the wins, they're hard. So we just had the right group.
Yeah, that's cool. Were you as impressed by Rooney as we all were in that game? Like, what a beast.
Ice in her veins.
That was insane.
Yeah.
I've never seen a goaltender performance like that from a young kid.
Yeah.
It was insanity. We had a good chat with her in one of our episodes, and I was a big fan before, but after we chatted with her, I felt like...
She's amazing.
Yeah. What a good kid. I'd want her on my team any day. Of all of your experiences at the Olympics, is there one moment, it doesn't have to be the gold medal win, but is there a moment that like sticks out to you always when you think about Olympics? Like, whether it was meeting somebody in, the dining hall or, after winning, getting the McDonald's nuggets or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, is there a moment that always resonates with you that constantly comes to mind when people start bringing up the Olympics or when it's that time of year?
Oh gosh. I think it was like Kendall and I skating down the ice after we win.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like holding the flag and stuff, because you like dream about that. And we came up short in 2014. That was such a brutal way to lose.
Yeah.
What we went through in 2017 and then, what we experienced in 2018, we're still able to overcome and find that victory at the end. I mean, it was just so special.
Do you have that picture of you two?
Yeah.
Because that's the photo moment that you want, right? Forever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you get Kendall to sign it?
No, I should though.
With Kendall and you two, battling it out last season, it felt like it was just right to have both of yous.
How cool is that?
Dude, that's like, you can't even write that stuff for us, for media. It's just like, thank you guys for making that happen. Just, can you talk a little bit about you and Kendall and, getting a hold of Billie Jean King and really getting the wheels in motion to have this league come to be what it is and what it took from everybody, really? I
mean, Kendall is one of one. Okay. Like, she is this like fearless individual. And like there aren't enough amazing adjectives to describe her, really. Like, she's so special, and women's hockey, especially at the professional level, would not be where it is today without her. Like, that's a given.
Amen. I agree.
Yeah. And so the competitor part of me, I was like, I'm mad we lost, but like, and we're all everyone's competitive, right?
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm not, this is amazing.
If you're going to lose to somebody,
For
it might as well be her,
like,
right?
hoist the first Walter Cup championship trophy. Like, how cool.
Just made sense.
Yeah.
That's hockey gods, I feel.
Yeah. And I loved how like our fans, because Boston sports fans are legit.
They can be unruly.
No, they embraced Minnesota. I guess not the Frost yet, but now the Frost.
Yeah.
It was just really cool to see. You couldn't have written a better script.
No, heck no. And you know what? Like, it was cool to see you guys have a moment at the end of that as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was said between you two, or is that private?
Don't. I wish it was almost like longer, because it was just like so special. I remember, so our home opener was special too, right?
Yeah.
To have that puck drop and both of us be there. Yeah, I mean, she's just an incredible human. Like it almost like makes me cry.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan now because I don't have to play against her anymore or you. So that works out in my favor. I just get to talk with you guys and talk about some fun stories. We all know your highlights. You know, we all know that you won the IHF Female Player of the Year, which is huge, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But not many people get to know or see the bloopers. And I love that, like,
oh no.
It's okay. There's fun stuff that happens.
There's a lot of fun stuff.
I know. And I love that your teammates give it to you. And like, there's a lot of them that reach out and send me some fun videos and stuff. And like, what are some of the best bloopers that have happened to you recently, most notably in Seattle? Like, were you truly not aware?
Oh my gosh, no, I wasn't aware. And you know what? Nobody really knew that this happened because I think the feed cut out.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, my girlfriend captured the video on the Jumbotron and shared it with all the girls. No, I almost had like a line brawl with the entire Hockey Canada group. I was chasing a hat trick on an empty net and I took a slap shot because I didn't hear the whistle and I saw like the light behind the net change colors and I was like, oh, that's weird, and just like took a slap shot. Turn around, realize like none of my teammates are there. I was like, this is really weird. Something is wrong. All of Canada's coming over. And I'm like, oh, geez. Yeah. Okay. Like, I know I'm going to have to like
answer the bell.
Yeah. Like, I deserve that 100%.
But in all fairness, you truly did not hear the buzzer go.
It wasn't like one of those moments.
What everyone doesn't understand. This happened in Seattle, okay? The buzzer had gone when Hilary was at the red line. She's still cruised in full steam.
It's gotta be like, I want to say it was like 3 seconds. It was probably 5 seconds.
It was
later.
So many seconds.
It was so bad. And so I understand why I would be in trouble for something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw Stace come and I was like, okay, like, here we go. Here we go. Just bend your knees. You know, like it's coming.
And apparently some of your teammates even explained to some Canadians, like, look, she's hard of hearing. Like she truly didn't hear it at all. And they were still so upset by it regardless. That's what makes the rivalry so good between you guys. Do you remember playing with the goalie stick at all?
Yeah, I remember that one. I think it's the only time I've made it onto bar down. So I'm still trying to get like a highlight reel goal or something to outdo that.
That your only time
I don't know
on bar
if it
down?
Is. I don't. It probably isn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's the one that's like etched into my memory.
Is that one?
But the amount of skill that it takes to catch a stick like that.
My question is like you took like 3 or 4 strides with it before realizing.
And I was like, this thing is heavy. I was like, oh no. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a penalty. I need to drop this thing. You know, like you can't.
Because it wasn't your goalie, right? It was Finland?
No, it was Finland's. It's like, I don't even know anybody on that team, you know? So, and then my favorite was when I tried to outsmart the rules because we had too many men on the ice. I was like, if I just hop in this box, I'm technically not on the ice. And I thought I just jumped and I was sort of like a little birdie on a perch, you know.
Did it work?
I don't know if we got too many men. We definitely had too many men on the ice. 100%.
So you just hid yourself essentially. You're playing hide and seek for a minute.
Yeah. But you know, that person all white, the camera person.
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah, Nate found me. Yeah.
Camera guy Nate, one of my favorite guys. Rivalry series this year, we talked about it being near your hometown, 3 hours away. What did it mean for you to finally be able to go back that close, you know, and don the American jersey? It's pretty sweet.
So cool. Like I'm pretty sure a whole town came. Which is like 3 hours away. When are you gonna play a US-Canada rivalry in Idaho? People don't even know where Idaho is. Dude, you know, they think it's Iowa.
Actually, you're right. I would probably point out Iowa on a map as opposed to Idaho.
Yeah. So no, it's just super special. You know, I think like the kids always see us like on TV, and to be able to be on the glass and see amazing hockey. I mean, how cool is that?
I think that's awesome. And I think that, you know, having you suit up for that game for those kids, I think means the world. It's just that opportunity. I mean, it's cool for them to see you on TV, but face to face when they get to be down by the glass for warm-ups and stuff and they get to catch your eye, that's huge. That's so cool. I got the opportunity last year to have a beverage with your parents.
Oh gosh.
Your mom's a beautiful human being. She is so incredibly kind and sweet.
Yeah.
What role did they play essentially in your career to help you be as successful? You know, some parents, it's the cheerleader, other parents, it's the coach. What were your parents?
They definitely weren't coaching me, that's for sure. No. They didn't know what outside was.
Skiing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny actually, after so I have 3 younger brothers, and when we all started skating, my mom got into it and joined sort of a women's club team locally. So she learned with us, which is kind of cool. But no, I mean, my mom is just such an amazing athlete, and she taught me, how to, put together structure, give myself structure, write down goals, figure out how to, I call it like plotting your way to success. Like she taught me that.
Yeah.
And then my dad's sort of very cerebral guy, sort of taught me the visualization and the mental aspects of the game. So I was really fortunate to have supportive parents. And it was also at a time when not many girls played hockey.
Yeah.
And so you're playing on boys teams, and I'm sure they had to endure a lot of parents saying some nasty things in the stands, but always in your corner. And, not a tough hockey parent either, because they were learning the game as we were.
Right.
So that was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool that they get to watch you do this now, having had no hockey background prior to it. So would you consider them to be like your biggest supporter in your career?
Definitely. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm lucky too to have like a strong, female role model in my life. You know what I mean?
Totally.
She was not, my mom didn't have the same luxuries or privilege that I got with Title IX and being able to play at a high level. It was sort of, sports weren't necessarily acceptable for women. Right. So it's just cool that I'm able to be sort of the first generation for us to unlock those dreams.
As now a mother, someone who actually got to do what you did and now have a young daughter, I can only imagine how awesome it must feel for your mom to be able to watch her daughter have those opportunities and be able to live out her dreams and goals. So your mom isn't missing much. It means more almost when you get to see your kids do some pretty cool things. Your season last year with Boston, we touched on it a little bit. Maybe you weren't necessarily the healthiest.
No, yeah.
Does it feel better to be back this year? And what are your goals for season 2 with the fleet?
Yeah. The first year was challenging, I'd say, for me because, it's the inaugural season.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that. I probably pushed in areas I definitely should have, chilled in, but
didn't want to miss the first one.
Didn't want to miss the first one. And that group's just like, the room is so special. And I said it before, you understand like these moments are almost fleeting. So you want to be there. Like you want to show up for people. We did our best, and, injuries definitely bit us in the end. But, year 2 picked up some awesome pieces. We've continuing to work on our culture. I think we did an awesome job of establishing our culture the first year, and we built it from scratch like every other team had to do in this league. I don't think people outside of pro sports really understand how hard it is. Yeah. And so just really excited to get going, excited for puck drop. Lucky I'm not dealing with that nagging injury anymore, and I just want to go out there and play and be like a kid.
Does anybody know what that nagging injury is? Have you shared it ever?
I don't think so. I just
what was the injury?
Had like I don't even know what you would call it, like a tear, a partial tear of whatever the sheath is for that holds
muscle. The wrapping of the muscle?
Yeah.
Yep.
And an ankle.
Fascia.
Yeah. I just got into some bad ice and twisted my ankle, and it never felt great. And yeah, like some days I wouldn't be able to walk, and that was tough, So I was in a boot for a while.
Right. So this year, stay healthy is the goal. Yeah,
definitely. And that's the hardest thing to do.
Right.
And at the end of the year, I fall into a pothole on the way out for the other ankle. So I'm like, all right, cool. It's going to be a great summer.
No, actually?
But yeah. So I was in a boot for like 10 weeks this summer, or 8 weeks or something like that. The other one. Yeah.
You really did get it. Well, you got them both out of the way.
Got them both.
So there's that.
So we're good.
Well, good luck this season. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
We'll be cheering for you.
Yeah,
Looking
thank you.
for I picked you guys last year to win. I'll double down again if that's the case.
I thought you didn't even lose hope like midway through the season.
No.
We had a lot of people out there.
No, I'm a big Aaron Frankel fan.
Yeah, good.
And I like the way you guys looked on paper.
Yeah.
I roomed and played with Courtney Burchard. So
Yeah,
and then after when you guys ran the table, right? After Worlds, I was just like, here we go.
Yeah. Well, we were all talking at Worlds and like, I can't remember how many points were on the board to take.
And you guys took them.
You're like, there's this many points, and then you just get hot.
You guys did.
Yeah.
It was wild. It was wicked to see. I hope more great things from you guys. Good luck this season. Have some fun with it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Another position switch, Tess, that I had no idea about in women's hockey.
I never knew that. I never knew she was a defender like me, which makes a ton of sense.
I can't picture it at all. Does it to you? Like I'm trying to picture Hill on the blue line. It's just not working for me. She's such a power forward.
When you were younger, all the tall kids play D. I don't know why. Yeah. That's just what it was. You're tall, back on D.
No, you're right. And if you could skate backwards.
Yeah, that's why I was moved back, to be honest. The little boys team I played on, they needed defenders and I was one of the better skaters, so they threw me back there. Thank goodness.
I always, in the last year of Liam's, my boyfriend's hockey career, I was like begging him to be forward. I think he would have just been a great forward. He's got this big ass park in front of the net. Like he would have been the most menacing left winger the OUA had ever seen. And he just refused because one day when he was 8, he was taller than everyone else. And then I guess when he got 12, most people got, he's not short. He's like 5'10". Sorry, I just made him sound like a really short guy. But he was a really tall kid. And he could skate backwards, so got thrown on D. It was like a crusade in the last 2 years of his hockey career. I was like, dude, be a forward. You decided this when you were 8. It's not too late. Anyways, that's my rant on the world.
But you get more ice time on D and you control the game more. So
that's what it is. He couldn't give up the control of the game. I feel like he would have gotten a million goals up there, but he just couldn't give up controlling the pace of the game from the back end. I can understand that. I was never
get it,
a
Mr.
D.
Liam.
Yeah. Our Send It segment. We do this every Tuesday, guys. If you have questions about us, if you have questions about the PWHL, if you have questions about teams in the PWHL, anything really regarding the league, women's hockey, history, rules, whatever you want to know, send us a question, jocksandjills@gmail.com. Hit us in our DMs at jocksandjills on Instagram, Twitter, X, or TikTok. We've got one this week, another one on the no escape rule test. Big fan here from Jackie. No escape rule question. When the call is too many players on the ice, team picks who goes in the box, but how is it decided which 4 out of the 5 on the ice stay on the ice? Does the coach get to decide? Dude, correct. I love when people think of questions that I would like never think to think of until the situation actually happened. And I'd be like, oh God, what happens now?
That's correct. The coach decides. The coach gets to pick who stays on and who comes off. So, I mean, it's pretty boring and straightforward. The first thing when you said Jackie, did our producer Jackie send this in or is this a different Jackie?
No, this is a different Jackie. Jackie, our producer, just sends us send it segment questions in our group chat and we answer them for her.
You know what? She was right, actually. Let's do this send it segment. Producer Jackie sent in a question asking, what the hell is a Michigan goal? We are terribly sorry. Some people out there might not know what a Michigan goal is. A Michigan goal is when you're behind the net and you pick up the puck on the blade of your stick, kind of like lacrosse, and you skate it around the net and you throw it top corner.
Yeah.
That is a Michigan goal.
Some people do call it a lacrosse goal.
Yeah.
I forget who the player was that did it at Michigan the first time, but that's why they call it a Michigan too.
Yeah. So everyone that had to Google because we were jerks and didn't explain it, we apologize.
Sorry, guys. Sometimes we yap without context. It's kind of on us.
Yeah.
Well, happy holidays, guys. Tessa, you make sure you drive safe through the snow belt. Go slow.
Thank you.
Be strapped in. Have fun. Bring a book and a movie for the ride.
Yeah, right. It's 2 kids in the back seat. You think I'm going to have time to read a book and watch a movie? I'm going to be facing the wrong way 90% of the time, doling out
What do you
snacks.
even do? Oh, it's mostly... Have you... Okay, actually, I forget who it was on the Montreal Victoire. They put together a snackle box for the bus. I think it's something that you should consider. Actually, am I not showing you anything new? Okay, cool. No. It's a mom hack that you already saw.
Yep. So they got the snack boxes. So snacks are happening. And then there's fighting. And then there's napping, hopefully. And then there's waking up because they have to pee because they didn't go pee before we left. There's just lots. It's just what it is.
There's lots to consider. Okay, so we'll talk to you guys a week from today. There will be no Friday episode this week because of the holidays. There will be an episode a week from today. New Year's Eve, and we will talk then to put a bow on 2024 and the first calendar year, really, Tessa, of the PWHL. It was January 1st last year. We were at the Mattamy Athletic Center in downtown Toronto, crying our eyes out, and we'll talk more about that next week to really reflect on the last year. But thank you all. We hope you have a wonderful holidays. Travel safe if you're traveling. We love you guys. Enjoy.